I want to talk to you a little bit about social media in the organization. Now, yours is a one-to-many business with literally tens of thousands of employees. What are you doing, if anything, with social media these days, essentially to help the business out?
Yeah, we're doing a lot of things, Bill, really in three areas: customer engagement, also partner engagement and how we deal better with our suppliers and manufacturers, and then we're doing a lot in the area of internal associate engagement. So in the customer piece, we're experimenting with Facebook and Twitter and YouTube and all of those type of things to engage our customers. First, listening to our customers, being able to monitor those channels and hear what they are saying about their experiences at our stores and our brands, and then being able to respond back to them in an appropriate and constructive and good way. And we hope to take that starts with the listening, and then it'll move to engagement, and we're starting to engage and talk to our customers more in that forum, and we find that very valuable. Still early in the experimentation stage, but anytime you can learn more about your customers and engage with them, it's better, and we're finding it's being very helpful there. On the partner side, we're doing some things at store level, actually in the back room of the store, where we're using social media to engage with our suppliers as they deliver product and we need things done in the stores. And often when suppliers come in, it's at odd hours, store personnel aren't around, and the use of that social media to pass messaging back and forth has proven to be incredibly productive and effective. Both our store personnel speak highly of it, and as well as our partners do. So that's been a big win. Internally, Bill, we're using social media in a big way with Yammer. We have over 10,000 users in a very active Yammer community that's been started about a year and a half now. And our senior management was very interested in using social media to kind of connect our company. We've grown by acquisition. We have different brands and banners all around the country with their own cultures, and we probably were probably acting more like separate companies than a single company. Yammer's allowed us to have interactions across all of our different banners, and we have store directors in Massachusetts with the Shaw's banner communicating on a regular basis and sharing ideas with store directors from all over our other banners: Albertsons in Southern California, or Jewel in Chicago, or Cub here in Minneapolis. And it's really flattened our hierarchy, made our communications much faster, and we believe really speeded our decision making. And we're having great conversations across the company that never happened before. Sharing of best practices, sharing of display and merchandising that's worked for folks. Groups have formed like our Shore store groups. So we have Shore stores or in several different banners on Cape Cod in Massachusetts with Shaw's, and the Jersey Shore with Acme, or out west on the Pacific with Albertsons, where it's very seasonal business, but does tremendous business 2 or 3 months of the year with a very different clientele with different needs. These store directors in those different banners never communicated or never shared ideas with one another before. Now we have a Yammer group of about 120 store directors in all different banners on Shore stores that are sharing ideas and best practices every day. And I could give you 5 or 6 other examples like this, but it has really driven a much more transparent organization and a much flatter organization, and we believe we're using it to make faster decisions.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome. So you've got common communities that are sort of forming up on their own, and I think an important point to emphasize, to re-emphasize, is that a lot of this was top down, that the senior management, non-IT, was in line with this from the start.
Yeah, Bill, it was kind of a marriage of a real desire from senior management to have something like this happen that could draw the company together and kind of break that hierarchical communication that was happening. Mm-hmm. And we also had, at the same time, we had a skunk work group of Yammer folks who were using, within the organization, our associates who were using Yammer's Freebie product. And it was kind of a perfect marriage of top meets bottom, and it took off. And it was very important that senior management, I wouldn't say pushed it, but certainly supported it and listened to those conversations, and then weighed in and paid attention and made decisions on it, which made people realize time that they spent in Yammer was not going to be a black hole. They were getting the ear of senior management, but at the same time, the rank and file was getting a lot of value out of it, and therefore that's how the usage grew, and it continues to grow and grow every day.
Now, understanding that social media and what everybody is doing is relatively new, are there any prominent limitations or impediments at this point? I mean, money, people, staff, or is it just simply the newness of the medium and the technology that's maybe keeping it from getting as big as it could be?
I think it's not the usual suspects. So things that are holding us back now, Yammer, I think we are leveraging to a very large extent. I think we can do more, but I think that will just come from our own experience of using it. And the more experience we come and the more different things we try, we will figure out how to leverage it more and more. On the consumer side, with the experiments that we're doing, probably the biggest challenge, it's not money or it's not time, it's probably skill and a challenge of, with all of the customer interactions that go on, and there can be thousands of them in a day, how do we gear up enough people who can give a response back to the consumer that properly reflects and consistently reflects the image of our brand, and to do that in a consistent quality way? So it's more building up that skill so that we can be talking to those consumers in a way that reflects the quality and the spirit of our brand. And getting everyone to do that in a consistent manner.
Now, I know this is kind of tough to look out when things are changing so fast, but look out just say 3 years. You're a business with over 100,000 employees and millions of customers. What might social media do between now and then to sort of reshape the way things are done? Any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think it's fascinating to think about. I think from a marketing standpoint and how we engage customers, it can be the sky's the limit on what it can do. I see us engaging with customers much more frequently via social media. Perhaps for 100 years, the grocery business has been pretty much centered around the weekly paper circular that comes out and shows you the specials in the grocery store. I see that changing, and us delivering targeted specials to folks via social media. I see us doing more advertising through social media, even using YouTube to do some of that. Certainly, I mentioned listening before. Listening is the most important thing of how we listen to our consumers, how we get consumer insight and information, probably driven more from social media, which are real-life focus groups. So I think on the marketing and consumer end, it's fascinating to think about where this could go, of having those direct one-to-one relationships with consumers, and social media provides you the mechanism, the leverage, and the scale to have lots of those relationships and be able to target things much better for our customers. So fascinating there. I believe on the supplier and partner side, it will continue to grow, and we will do many more things through a social media aspect of communication with our suppliers that will be faster and quicker than meetings and PowerPoint presentations that get scheduled weeks in advance. You will see a much more frequent flow of information and conversation that happens every day that social media affords. On the internal engagement side, I'm not predicting the end of email. But I think that social media will, and the use of internal social media like Yammer, will dramatically change the way we communicate, and it already is at SuperValu, dramatically change the way we communicate with our colleagues, the way that we get information from them, and the way that we work on a day-to-day basis. So a lot to change, a lot of change to come. I think all good and all fascinating.
Well, here's to the death by PowerPoint in that case there. And from what you're saying on the customer side, very, very high levels of personalization in a business that's traditionally high volume, low margin, but making it that much better for everybody.
Mass customization is coming.